Hey guys, it's John here coming to you with the NECA Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix review. Here I have for you today Harry Potter himself, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, Sirius Black, and the Mechanical Death Eater. So let's jump right in and have a close look at the figures themselves. So here we have the first 4 figures in the series out of their original packaging, which of course was just standard NECA clamshell packaging with the paper backing. I already threw that out, I don't keep those, but I have to tell you guys, these figures look incredible. Face sculpt wise, I am extremely impressed with how they're able to capture the resemblance of their actor counterparts, especially with Hermione, Harry, and Sirius at the back there. Ron is a little bit iffy to me, but let's jump right in and have a close look at all of their details. The molding and sculpting on these figures are a definite highlight for me. As you guys can clearly see, each individual character has their very own unique body sculpt, which is quite rare to see nowadays since it's not very cost effective for companies, unfortunately, but I definitely love it and I really appreciate it, especially all those details going on with the shirt itself, all those wrinkles that goes all the way down to his trousers as well. We have shoelaces that are molded in, his tie and collar do look fantastic like that, and he even has his glasses molded on his face. There are a bit of quality control issues since the glasses don't have black all the way around them and the arms of the glasses itself is silver or kind of translucent plastic, which is quite strange, but I think this still looks fantastic. His hair looks brilliant as well. Moving on to Hermione, who is my personal favorite. We have her in her cardigan and nice pleated skirt, which all the girls wear at Hogwarts, of course. As you guys can see, she has skinnier legs, so it is a bit tricky for her to stay on her stand. She has different shoes as well. We even have those wrinkles in her stockings where her ankles are, which I think is just incredible detail. And of course her hair, her lion's mane, it looks brilliant. Each individual strand molded, of course, is in a kind of movable plastic, so it is moved around when you need it to be. Ron, I do love the individual kind of characteristics that we have with these figures, since his shirt is untucked, very much like Ron is, kind of sloppy. He looks fantastic. I think his skin tone is a little bit off. He kind of looks a little bit more orange compared to everyone else, but that's the only kind of complaint I have about him. His hair looks fantastic. This is my favorite Ron's hair. I like it when it's this kind of mid-length. His trousers are the same as Harry's pretty much, of course molded differently though. We still have that untucked shirt at the back, that just looks fantastic. And of course Sirius is in a totally different getup, with his kind of vest going on his trousers and his huge trench coat, which is made out of a movable material, so that can be really moved for great articulation as well. I do love the paint job going on with the stripes going down. Everything just looks fantastic. There's so much detail, as you guys see with the vest and the chain belt. That just looks incredible. And of course his hair is kind of reminds me of like Medusa hair, like snakes. It looks fantastic, and it is made of a movable plastic, which is quite funny. Like if I move that back, you can kind of imagine him looking bold, which is awesome. The paint job is also very impressive as well, with each character having at least 2 tones of color in their hair. And though their outfits are quite simple with a mixture of glossy and matte paint, they all have brilliant shading going on. Something that's kind of strange though is that they decided to paint the tops of the students, so Hermione, Harry and Ron, kind of a greenish color with a black overlay, which to me reads like the Slytherin house colors, which is green, grey and black. That's just kind of a weird decision they went with, and I'm not too sure about it. Articulation wise, starting off with Mr. Potter here, we have 360 in the actual head itself. That's actually from the neck joint though, so we don't have any actual tilting. We have 360 in both arms, though this one does look awkward in any pose except the recommended straight forward. Unfortunately, we have 360 in the hands themselves too. We have a little bit of movement there, barely anything. We have 360 in the actual waist, nothing in the legs, and a little bit of motion in the feet, though I'm not sure if that's an actual joint or I'm just slowly breaking the figure. Moving on to Mr. Ronald Weasley, we have 360 in the actual neck joint itself. Again, he does tilt up and down a little bit. I think that's just because he has a little bit more room around his collar. We have 360 in both arms themselves, so this one does look awkward again in any position except the recommended straight forward. We have a little bit of motion in the hands, though his is stuck for some reason. I don't know why, that might just be my figure. He has very limited waist swivel since his shirt does cover his pants a little bit. That limits it a little bit, and he also has motion in the feet. Again, I'm not sure if I'm just slowly breaking that. Hermione is a little bit different to the boys. As you guys can see, she has again the 360 head motion from the neck. Her hair is pliable material, so that does help with articulation a little bit. She has 360 in the arms themselves, both arms, and hers does look natural going down forward and up, which I really like since Hermione is my favorite character, of course. We have 360 in the hands themselves, and we have 360 in the waist itself. Since she is wearing a skirt, she has 360 in each individual leg themselves as well, so that's pretty awesome. Nothing in the feet. Lastly, we have Mr. Sirius Black. So we have 360 in the head itself, just like everyone else. No tilting. We have 360 in both arms, though they look awkward in any position except the straight forward. We have a 360 waist swivel, though that does tend to pop out really easily, but you can just pop that back in. We have 360 in the hands themselves, and they tilt up and down a little bit, and we have nothing in the feet. Unfortunately, these figures are very limited and they seem much more like statues rather than actual action figures. Height-wise with one another, of course, the Mechanical Death Eater here stands tallest at 7.5 inches, then it's Sirius Black at 6.4, Harry Potter and Ron Weasley tie at 6.2, and Hermione Granger stands at 6.1. So now let's jump right in and have a close look at all of their accessories. Each individual wizard and witch, of course, comes with their own magical wand. As you guys can see here, they are extremely tiny compared to my hand. Just think about it like a toothpick. You're gonna want to be very delicate with these. I have bent them a few too many times. They haven't snapped on me yet though, but they are nicely detailed. As you guys can clearly see, it's very specific and accurate to how we see in the movie with Harry's wand, Ron's wand, Hermione's, Sirius's, and this is the Death Eater's dummy's wand. Very nice. My favorite is obviously Hermione's one. Of course, you have the vines going all the way down the one itself. Harry's, of course, has that huge chunky base. Ron's is pretty much... Ron's is always very simple. It just has a chunky base as well. Sirius's, I never really paid attention to. I didn't know it was so tiny compared to everyone else's. And this is just the Death Eater's one. It's very simple, just like a stick. And of course, they each come with their own individual base. They're all the same for everyone except the Death Eater, and it's not my favorite thing. As you guys can clearly see, it's just a peg in a base itself. The figures themselves have peg holes in their feet, so they do peg in. Hermione, unfortunately, doesn't really balance that well. I think the peg itself should have been a little bit higher just to prop her up, since her legs don't really support her, unfortunately. Of course, as well, Harry, Ron and Hermione each came with a Build-A-Figure piece of the Mechanical Death Eater. Harry coming with the head and the arms, Ron coming with the body, and Hermione coming with the wheel, the stand, and the wand itself. I have to say though, this figure is gorgeous with dual shading going on with brown and black. He is a little bit hollow at the back, as you guys can see, and is extremely flimsy, especially his arms, which are supposed to be movable, but when I got him out of the packaging, the pieces that were holding his joints together were actually broken. Since they are a very flimsy, translucent kind of joint, they broke and I had to super glue it on. So if he were movable, he would have a hinge in the arm going up and down and a hinge in the elbow itself. Other than that, nothing pretty much else. He is a pretty good accessory, I must say. Very great for display. So now let's jump right in and gear our heroes up. Overall, to be completely honest with you guys, I'm a little bit disappointed in these figures. Don't get me wrong, they do have beautiful individual sculpts, gorgeous paint jobs, and each resemble their actors to a T. It's just as an action figure, they're not enjoyable to pose due to their limited articulation and posability. They seem very much suited to those who collect statues though, but personally, I am not that type. At the end of the day though, I am still extremely happy to have these figures join my figure collection, since I love these characters and actors with all of my heart. I highly recommend these figures for any hardcore Harry Potter fans, those who don't mind the limited movability, and until next time, I will see you guys soon. Bye!